what's up everyone? GameDad here, coming at you guys with a brand new collection series. This time we are taking a look at everything that I currently have in my Nintendo 64 collection. So today is part one, and over the next few weeks we will go through the rest of the games that are in the collection. So come with me as we check out what games we have on the list for today.
GoldenEye 007 was released by Rare in 1997, and I think pretty much anybody that has ever played an N64 knows what this game is. The multiplayer on it was epic. I mean, it doesn't really hold up very well nowadays, but it still will get you right in the nostalgia feels if you go back and play this game. And I mean, it was just a classic. Up next, we have 1080 Snowboarding, released by Nintendo in 1998. And this game is another one of those ones where it was just such a blast to play through. I remember actually first playing this for, I believe it was the Dreamcast, and I got totally hooked on this game. And now having it in my N64 collection, it's just super fun to play anytime I want. Now here we have 40 Winks, released by Pico Interactive in 2018. And this is pretty cool and pretty special because it's an actual homebrew kind of game released for the N64, but it's actually a remake of, I believe, the PlayStation 1 version of the game. They ported it over, they took out a lot of the FMV, but they also added co-op to the game. So this was a Kickstarter, and it was super fun to be able to play this game. Here we have Aero Fighter's Assault, released by Paradigm Entertainment in 1997, and this one had a very, Star Fox, Top Gun kind of feel to it. The controls are pretty clunky in my opinion, though. I mean, it's pretty hard to get, the really tight turns unless I was just missing the control that makes it happen. As you can see, the gameplay feels kind of slow. I mean, for flying a fighter jet, I expected it to be fast. Up next is AllStar Baseball 99, released by Iguana Entertainment in 1998, and this is just exactly what you would expect. It's another baseball game. This one has a lot of the All-Stars in it from the MLB of the time, and that part is kind of cool. You can go through, choose your teams, all that kind of stuff, and then you get to play some nice 3D baseball. But overall, I mean, it's just like any other sports game, really. I mean, you can see it's kind of aged here. Almost everything looks the same, but it's all right. After that, we have All-Star Baseball 2000, released by Iguana Entertainment in 1999, and this one is the follow-up to the previous game. They did make some quality of life improvements in the game, getting through the menus, stuff like that, but overall, it is still basically the same game. There's a bit of a graphics update. They kind of sped up the pace on things, but overall, yeah, I mean, it's just another baseball game. Up next, we have Army Men Sarges Heroes 2, released by the 3DO Company in 2000. And this game is really fun because it gives you the vibe that you're playing kind of as the Army Men from Toy Story. It even has that kind of look to it. But overall, the gameplay is actually pretty snappy. It's really clear what your objectives are. It's really clear what you need to do. And whenever you're firing on enemies, it actually has aim assist. So that really helps you having only one stick to aim with. Automobili Lamborghini, released by Titus Software in 1997, and this is just like essentially any kind of racing game, except this one is specifically geared towards the Lamborghini automobile. And you're going through, you get a bunch of different Lambos that you can drive, and playing through the game itself, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it plays a little bit clunky, but it's not horrible, and maybe that's just because, I mean, it's just a generic racing game. Here's an awesome one. That is Banjo Kazooie, released by Rare in 1998. And I don't know what it was about Rare back then, but pretty much every game they put out was just gold. And this one is hands down one of my favorite games by them. It's so much fun. It has total collectathon vibes to it, Mario 64, that kind of status. But this game is just on another level. This is what a 3D platformer should be. And here is the follow-up, Banjo Tooie, released by Rare in 2000, and this one is a continuation of the previous game. They did make a few minor updates and stuff, but overall, it's just a new story. And I really appreciate that because you spend all the time learning how to play the previous game, and you don't have to relearn a ton of things with the sequel. So this game is super fun, and I would highly recommend it to anybody that likes games in this genre. Up next is Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, released by Kemco in 2000. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Batman games in general, especially like the older kind of ones that are more these beat 'em up styles, but this one is actually pretty fun. It controls really well. It's not super clunky like other games have been in the past, and it really plays into the whole Batman Beyond vibe. So you're not playing as Bruce Wayne anymore, you're playing as the new guy, but I mean, it's still fun. Here we have Battletanks Global Assault, released by the 3DO Company in 1999. And this game is literally what you would expect. It's a tank game. You just go around, you blow stuff up. It's set in like a post-apocalyptic world, and everything is like kind of on the brink of another war or something like that. They kind of try to throw a like detailed story into what is not a detailed game, but overall, I mean, it's okay. Up next is Beetle Adventure Racing, released by Paradigm Entertainment in 1999. And even though it seems like a quirky game, I mean, you're driving around in VW Bugs, this is actually a super fun racing game. It controls extremely well, and it was actually kind of surprising, but I mean, the game is a lot of fun, even though you're just driving around in VW Beetles. I mean, that's really all the game is. It is a bug racing game, and it's a blast. And here we have Blast Corps, released by Rare in 1997. And in this game, I mean, it's kind of like Destruction Derby meets just a solo player version. I don't know. You go around, you destroy anything and everything, and you are causing a certain amount of damage, and however much damage you cause, it gets kind of totaled up, and you meet your goal or you don't. So kind of like Destruction Derby meets Rampage, I guess. And up next, we have Body Harvest, released by DMA Design in 1998. And in this game, you kind of go around on like, I don't know, like a spaceman kind of mission. As you can see, it's pretty generic looking, but you're just going around kind of exploring what's going on. There's some sort of alien threat, and you just kind of got to figure out the puzzles and story and go from there. Up next is Bomberman 64, released by Hudson Soft in 1997, and this game, pretty much like any Bomberman game, is just awesome. The multiplayer is excellent, but for the first time that I can remember, this one actually had a solo campaign, like a story mode you could go through, and it's actually really fun. So it teaches you how to play the game, but it also gives you a story and some backstory and lore for the Bomberman universe, so super fun game. And up next, we have Bomberman Hero, released by Hudson Soft in 1998. And this game, again, has multiplayer, but it took a much more story-driven approach. So it's kind of like Bomberman 64, but not quite, because they really go heavy into the story mode on this one. And I mean, it's fun, but I like Bomberman 64 a bit more. Up next, we have BustaMove 99, released by Distinctive Developments in 1999. And this game takes the classic approach to BustaMove. And that is, you go and match colors, 3 or more, and you get all the balls to drop off the screen before your opponent does, or before your opponent fills up their screen and loses anyways. So I have always loved this type of game ever since I was a little kid, and it's awesome to have it on an N64. Up next, we have Castlevania, released by Konami in 1999, and personally, I think this game is crap. The graphics are awful. It's super grainy, even though it's from N64 days, whatever, that doesn't matter. This is actually processing through an HD adapter, like for HDMI, and it still looks like this. So this game, I mean, it's just not fun. I like 2D side-scrolling Castlevania. That's where it's at. And speaking of garbage, here's Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, released by Konami, also in 1999. And this game, while the graphics are a bit better in it, I still think like it's just not good. I mean, the game is just not fun. It feels like it's trying to be 3D just for 3D's sake without actually becoming a fun game, and that's really unfortunate. Up next, we have Charlie Blast's Territory, released by Real Time Associates in 1999. And this game, it's kind of a puzzle game, I guess. You know, you're locked into a grid, you go around, you got to get to the big red bomb, and that blows away all of the light-colored tiles. And I didn't really find any kind of crazy challenge to it, but I guess you just blow stuff up. I mean, that's pretty much it. And here we have Clay Fighter 63 1/3, released by Interplay Productions in 1997. And if you like fighting games, cool. If you like claymation, awesome. Now, if you want to play a fighting game that's mixed with claymation, here you go. The game is clunky, but that's kind of by design, being claymation style. And I have the Clay Fighter games on, previous generations of consoles, and this one is equally as fun. Now, this is one of my all-time favorite RTS games. That is Command and Conquer, released by Westwood Studios in 1999. I have Command and Conquer on I don't even know how many platforms, probably every platform that it ever came out on. It's not the greatest on N64. It is definitely best played on a PC, but I don't know what it is. I have always loved this game. I started playing this back in like 6th or 7th grade in middle school and have been hooked ever since. And here we have Conkers Bad Fur Day, released by Rare in 2001. Another amazing game by Rare, and oh man, can it be offensive. But that's part of its charm. Have you ever played as a more offensive squirrel? I mean, it's awesome. So you're going through your main character. I mean, he's a total drunk and a terrible boyfriend, but overall, he's trying, and I guess that counts for something, right? Here we have a classic racing game. That's Cruisin World, released by Midway in 1998. And it's cool that these got ported over to consoles, because playing these in arcades, it's always a ton of fun, but when you get to later levels, it actually gets really hard to not start just spending a crap ton of quarters. So it's awesome to be able to have, effectively arcade free play by having it on the N64. Super fun game, not crazy good graphics, but still awesome. And yet another amazing Rare game, that is Diddy Kong Racing, released by Rare in 1997. And Mario Kart is, of course, the king of racers. But on the N64, I'm sorry, Diddy Kong Racing is just flat out better, in my opinion. This game, it has go-karts, it has airplanes, it has hovercraft. I mean, all these different vehicle types, and the way they lay it out is just, it's such a fun game. And up next is Donkey Kong 64, released by Rare in 1999, and this is one of my favorite games on the console. This is where they introduce so many more members of the Kong family, and the game is just so much fun. You go through on this grand adventure, and you get to experience all these different levels. You get to play as all the different characters, and you get to have a blast playing DK in a full 3D world.
So there you have it, everyone. That is everything that is currently in part 1 of my Nintendo 64 collection. Now, so far, have you seen any games that are just must-haves that I gotta add to the collection? I know we still got a few more parts to go, but I would love to hear from you down in the comments below, and let me know, what is your favorite Nintendo 64 game? And then while you're down there, please be sure to also hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell so you get an alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now, as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.